Hamster Kombat players, is this game starting to feel like a scam? You're not alone. I feel so bad right now. We've seen an explosion of comments from frustrated players, like, I regret wasting my time with this. Or all that grinding for just a few dollars. People are feeling burned, big time. But what's really going on here? Did Hamster Kombat fail to deliver on its promises? Or is this just one of those early stage bumps in the road that every crypto project faces? Today, we're going to dive deep and break it all down, what went wrong, why players are upset, and most importantly, whether Hamster Kombat is really a scam or if there's still hope for redemption. We're talking token crashes, airdrop controversies, and what you should do next if you're holding those tokens. You do not want to miss this, so stay tuned. Look, I get it. I've seen countless players venting their frustrations, saying things like, I spent $24 worth of data for what? Just $10 in tokens. The math isn't making sense, and I totally understand why that's driving so much disappointment right now. You're investing time, effort, and resources into a game that promised exciting rewards, but the reality? It's falling way short of expectations. But let's take a closer look. What's really causing all this frustration? Is it just the low token value? Is it the distribution? Or is it something deeper about how Hamster Kombat is handling its launch and rollout? There are several factors at play, and today, we're going to break them down piece by piece, so you can figure out whether to cut your losses or hold out for a potential turnaround. When the token first launched, there was a ton of hype. Everyone was buzzing about Hamster Kombat and the potential for big rewards. But the reality? The token price dropped fast. Within hours, many early players were left feeling like they had completely wasted their time, money, and data. You grind for hours, thinking you're building up a stash of valuable tokens, only to find out they're worth pennies on the dollar. Was the initial promise overhyped? Absolutely. The excitement around the airdrop and potential gains built up expectations that just weren't realistic. And when those expectations were shattered, it's no surprise players felt scammed. The time and effort you invest in a project should match the reward, but when you're getting cents instead of what you thought would be dollars, that's a hard pill to swallow. So, what happened here? Was it poor tokenomics, bad market timing, or just a mismanagement of hype? Let's break it down and see what went wrong, and if there's any hope for recovery. One of the biggest issues driving player frustration is the airdrop and token distribution. When Hamster Kombat was first hyped up, players were expecting significant rewards, some thought they might even make a decent profit. But when the dust settled, many were left with just a few dollars worth of tokens. That's where the disappointment really sets in. Imagine spending hours grinding in-game, using your data, and investing your time, only to end up with $5 or $10 in tokens. Barely enough to cover the resources you poured into the game, let alone see any real return. For players who expected more, this feels like a huge letdown, and it's easy to see why people are feeling cheated. The return doesn't match the investment, not in time, data, or effort. The problem isn't just the low token price, it's that the initial expectations were so much higher. People thought they were getting into a game with a big potential upside, but what they've seen so far doesn't come close. So, the question is, what caused this mismatch between what was promised and what was delivered? Let's break down how the airdrop fell short and why so many players feel like they've been misled. So, is Hamster Kombat a scam? That's the big question on everyone's mind right now. Here's the thing, just because a token price plummets, or a game doesn't meet your expectations, doesn't automatically mean it's a scam. In the world of crypto and play-to-earn games, price volatility and disappointment are part of the game. But, and this is important, here's the catch. When a project overpromises, underdelivers, and has shady tokenomics, that's when the lines between a genuine project and something more questionable start to blur. Let's break it down. First, many players feel misled because the initial marketing made it seem like Hamster Kombat was a goldmine waiting to happen. With talk of airdrops and potential for big earnings, players entered the game expecting to come out with something significant. But when the token price tanked almost immediately, and players saw their hours of grinding turn into just a few dollars, it felt like a betrayal. Second, when you look at the tokenomics, how the tokens are distributed, what percentage is allocated to developers, and how transparent the project has been with its community, things start to feel a little off. If most of the value is funneled toward the creators or early insiders, while regular players are left holding near worthless tokens, that raises some serious red flags. But remember, a project can stumble without being a scam. Sometimes, developers have good intentions but fail to execute on their vision. Other times, poor communication and bad market timing lead to crashes that don't necessarily reflect a project's long-term potential. That said, the red flags are there, and it's important for players to be vigilant. If a project keeps overpromising and under-delivering, it's worth questioning their motives and looking at how transparent they've been with their community. If you're in the game right now and feeling stuck, unsure of what to do next, here's what you can do to protect your time and resources. Reevaluate your involvement. Take a hard look at the time and effort you've invested compared to the rewards you're getting. If you're spending hours grinding in-game and only receiving a few dollars worth of tokens in return, it might be time to ask yourself if it's worth continuing. Your time is valuable, and if the rewards don't match the effort, it may be best to cut your losses and move on. Don't feel guilty about stepping away from a project that isn't delivering as promised. Watch for updates. The situation could still change, but that depends on the developers. Keep an eye on what they do next. Are they acknowledging community concerns, actively working to improve tokenomics, or addressing the distribution issues? If they make strides to fix the problems and show that they're listening to the players, there could still be a future for the game. However, if they continue to ignore feedback and the same issues persist, it's a major warning sign that they might not be committed to the long-term success of the project. Don't fall for FOMO. It's easy to get caught up in the excitement when a new game or crypto project launches, but remember, FOMO, fear of missing out, can be costly. Just because a project promises high returns doesn't mean it's guaranteed to succeed. Always research thoroughly before committing your time, money, or data to a game or token. Look into the team behind the project, study the tokenomics, and check the community sentiment. This due diligence can save you from making the same mistake twice. In the world of crypto and play-to-earn games, it's crucial to stay informed and avoid getting swept up in the hype. If the signs point to trouble, it's better to exit early than to ride the wave all the way down. I get that players feel cheated right now, $24 in data for just a few dollars of tokens. That's a terrible deal. But let's keep an eye on where Hamster Kombat goes from here. If things don't change, it might be time to call it quits and cut our losses. What do you guys think? Is this just a rough start, or is Hamster Kombat truly a scam? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more honest game reviews.